evening. Good evening. Happy Friday. With the old quick intro this time, the 30-second one instead of the 2-minute one. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Hello, Anna. Hello, Karen. How are you? I'm waiting for my co-host to make her big entrance, because she can't be here when she starts. That's a pattern with my teammates, actually. If you ever been to any of our events, you'll know that John is usually up there first, and then show you. Hello, the Wan. Thomas.
Might leave you there alone.
Susan, how are you? Whatever would I do?
Yeah, whatever would you do?
Hello, Celine. How are you?
You wanker.
David, how's it going? So yeah, we're pretty tired. Robert, my friend, how are you? My lungs. We're gonna get to that. Hey, Patricia, how are you? No water, huh? Main break. Wow. Sucks to be you, Patricia. I feel for you. They had a water break. No water for 24 hours, 36 hours. Hey, Linda. Tom, what's up? So we're tired. We're busy. Hello, Deb. Tomorrow night is the Camp Evans. Been a while since we've been there, seems like. So today has been all about charging everything up. Hey, Carmen. Everything behind the camera is plugged in, and everything behind the camera has had the batteries changed. And
now I just need to find a port to plug me in.
It seems like Groundhog's Day. That's what it feels like. Like we just did that because we did. Hello, Joyce. How are you?
I did put up that link.
Christine, how are you? Real quick update on the events that we're doing. September's pretty much all sold out. Hey, Cindy, how are you? October is the events that we have available. As of now, there are about 9 tickets left for the Kalani Ghost Hunt.
That's it?
At the Sterling Hill Mine,
wow.
October 7th. I believe there are 3 to 5 left for the Barron Arts Center.
Hi, Dana.
On the 21st of October, and we haven't even started promoting Camp Evans on October 14th. So all that good stuff. And we're doing the mine tours all October, every Sunday. I'll see you guys at Woodbridge. I'm excited to come back. We're not even getting there yet. I'm here. We're talking about November. We're trying to get through what's coming up here. So when we left you last, we were talking about the reason we didn't go to the Creeper Gallery was because we had a private investigation that Jim Harris, I don't know if any people know Jim Harris. Some of you should. He comes to our events. Jim Harris knows of a location that I guess he knows the people there, and they were kind of talking to him about their business having activity, shadow figures, voices, all kinds of stuff happening. So he reached out to me, us, and Robert and Sandra from Beer for Paranormal, and it was kind of an either or thing. He's like, if either one of you guys could come check this out, and I was like, yeah, we'll do it. And I was hoping that Robert and Sandra would also say yes as well, because we've never really gotten the chance to work with them before and really investigate with them. They've helped us out on events, but we've never kind of worked together with them. Jim, the New Jersey Paranormal link is up. Robert, same for you. If you want to click on that and you want to join us for this discussion, we'll talk it up for a while. And if we see you guys jump in, we'll let you in. So that's the link right there, New Jersey Paranormal. Click on that, get into StreamYard. We're probably going to have to use our headphones. So we'll see how it goes. I'll have them ready just in case. Hello, Nikki. How are you? Happy Friday.
Ready.
Hey, Nancy. So anyway, not going to say where the location was because it's private. The people that own the business don't want us to say the name of the location or even where it's located. It was North Jersey. I can say that much. But you go in there, with no expectations. We heard the claims. We were interested. It was one of the rare times we could get in there.
Hey, sis.
There's your sister. Hello, Dana. One of the rare occasions we could get in there during the day, which was kind of weird. Again, I'm hoping that Robert and Jim join us, so I don't want to get too deep into it. But we started daytime, ended nighttime. I'll say that much. And it was kind of interesting. I don't want to get too deep into it, but like I said, it was so funny in respect that Robert, and you guys that don't know Robert, we're good friends with Robert and Sandra for Paranormal, and we work with them because they're very professional and very knowledgeable, and they have a lot of experience in this field. And
You got cool toys.
well, that's what I was gonna say. We were talking about like what to bring, and I'm like, anything I bring, Robert's gonna have like the better, newer version and beyond. He's like the Buzz Lightyear of the paranormal, and I'm Woody. I'm the Woody doll, if that makes sense to people. Hey, Cheryl. So Robert brought the whole arsenal. Once I'm done with dinner, I'll try jumping on. All right. Well, James, we might be done by then, and but he brought a lot of stuff. He brought I was able to use the LiDAR for the first time, which is kind of cool. We tried some different things. Hello, everyone. Hello, Raul. Is that how you say that?
Yeah.
How are you? And like I said, I don't know, Jim. I don't know if you're going to be joining me, but I'm going to jump in.
Hey, Sandra.
Sandra's there. I'm going to jump in. I again, Robert. I don't know if you're able to jump in either, or Sandra.
Yeah. I'll post it again.
Dominique, how are you? So this location, we were sent. Robert did a little research and sent me some information. Um, what I mainly look for is like, if there was something, what year was the business established that we're investigating? A, what was there prior to, B, were there any reported deaths in either places, accidents or whatever? If you could find out what was on the land before that, great. But, and any stories or claims that the people have, that's important too. We were fortunate enough to where, again, I wish I could say their names, but I can't. There were two people that worked there and were experiencing things. They'd seen different things and heard different things, and they were there. So that was cool. We got to actually speak to them, and they walked us around to the different areas, and we're like, we saw a shadow figure here, shadow figure there.
Heard voices here, right?
We heard someone call.
And I think that's what makes the difference is that it's one thing when you hear information secondhand, when you actually get to have the people right in front of you and talk to them and listen to their stories. And it's not just the story they're telling, it's also their reaction and how they're responding to what they're telling you. That kind of adds to the whole thing too.
Hey, John, how you doing? And again, I'm kind of waiting to see if they come on. But one thing that Robert asked that I would have asked, that I do ask, when you do this as long as we do, you kind of try to gauge the people you're kind of dealing with as far as the people that are reporting the claims. There's questions you ask them, to see what kind of people they are, if they're people that are really into this thing, and if they've, had paranormal experiences everywhere they've ever gone. You look for other kind of issues if it was a private matter in a home. And, Robert right away asked, he's trying to get on. He right away asked if, as we're talking to these people and they're talking about these claims, we go in totally objective, blank page. We don't know. We weren't there. We've never experienced these things. Open mind. But again, we're trying to figure stuff out as we get there. And he asked them after they said all the claims. And again, he asked it in a very polite, nonchalant, passing way. well, have you ever experienced anything before anywhere? And I was like, that's exactly kind of how you word it too, because you don't want to insult anyone. You don't want to make it seem like you're talking down to them as this great paranormal, person. And both of the gentlemen that were there said, no, never. And that right there made me kind of go, oh, wait a minute here.
Yeah, they never experienced. Why would they now start?
Yeah, exactly. And this was this business. It's not like, I mean, the building itself dates back pretty far, from my understanding. But it's not like super like, it's not the factory, the art factory in Patterson.
Yeah, where it's been there 1881. For so long.
Yeah, where it was there were child laborers and immigrants and everything, way back. And again, the manufacturing standards weren't what they are now.
Yeah.
This was a building that was kind of like, a regular building that's been around for, I don't know, we're talking like maybe what, 30s, 40s, maybe.
Yeah.
19.
Bob was trying to figure out by the window. Yeah, we're still in there.
So, we, after hearing all the claims and taking the tour, it was really the space that we were investigating was literally just a big warehouse type of space with little pockets like an office area and break room and things like that. It's
an extensive area. It was very large. There was a lot of areas to cover.
I don't want to butcher your name. Hello, Marianne. How do you say that name? Barnabas, right?
Sounds right.
Barnabas. I hope I got it right. Horrible with names as it is, but anyway, so it was open areas for the most part, and again, I'm hoping that Robert comes on here, but immediately when you hear about shadow figures, especially in like a big industrial type of building with skylights and windows, your mind automatically shifts to, okay, what is the light play in this building, for different times. The time that we got there, which was still daylight, sunset, into when it got dark. And, that was the first thing that I was thinking, to be honest with you. When they were talking about shadow figures in certain areas.
Later at night.
No, I'm not even thinking that. I'm thinking of what's the light like here?
Right.
I'm looking.
And what's going on?
There's the windows. How, like Robert said, how high are the windows? What's the light coming in from that way? From that way?
Type of roof, type of insulation. We were going through all of the different things that you could add into the equation of what could be a factor.
Those were for the sounds, and that's why I've said this with you guys. You want to think every single possibility. I mean, that's what you should always do. You should never go in. Again, you're not trying to insult anybody. You're not calling anybody a liar. We would never do that.
No.
If people are saying they're experiencing things, we're going to believe them, but we're also going to go in objectively and say, maybe not everything is paranormal, or maybe nothing is paranormal, or maybe everything is paranormal at the end of the day when we've been there, but we won't know that until we're finished.
Exactly.
But in the beginning, we're looking for reasons for everything. You're hearing this, you're hearing footsteps, footsteps were part of it. Noises, shadow figures, voices. So again, we go in there thinking, okay, what could be causing the shadow figures? We see what the lighting is like when we got there. We see the areas where they caught the shadow figures. And both Bob and I were like, okay, as of right now, there's nothing here that should be creating what they're describing in the one area. There were windows, but still nothing would have caused what they were saying in the area. It was like a
we can't disclose where this was.
No, we can't talk about where this was. And the other area where they saw the shadow figure, it was an archway in the warehouse. There were no windows. The windows were way back from where the shadow figure was seen. So again, it was one of those things where you kind of look at that and you listen to them. And again, these people seemed like they were legit. They had never experienced anything before.
But you know what impressed me? And again, you got to think about the mindset that this person did this. This person was walking through their job site and literally had an experience, and when they had the experience, they actually looked at their watch and literally marked down the time that experience happened. And that person could tell us right down to
very
the minute
detailed
when it happened.
Yeah, very detailed.
And that is so helpful because it's not around, I think, maybe, I'm not sure. I mean, as soon as we, boom, right to, it was da-da-da-da time because I looked down at my watch because I wanted to mark it. And then the other thing happened around this time because, you know, they seem to be very oriented about time. Time is like a factor with everything that they respond to and do there. So it's kind of like that actually added to it too. I thought that was very unique.
Type place, so I mean everything is fast moving.
But who thinks to look at their watch like, oh my God, I just heard something just happened. All right, what time is it? Yeah. Who does that? Think about that for a minute. That's huge.
So again, that was kind of the approach, and we spent a good amount of time walking around talking, which I like because it never should be come get the equipment and go. That should never happen when you're going in and you're there we go. Robert, I don't see you.
There he is.
Good evening.
There he is. Hold on a minute. Let me change the layout here. Can you hear me?
Yeah. How about me?
Yep.
I hear you fine.
There's the lovely Sandra hiding.
Man, I was trying to stall for as long as I could.
Yeah. Yeah, she's listening. You know, what is I use Safari for my browser, and I have to use Firefox for this application. So I had to log into Facebook to do this deal here with Steam.
So those of you who don't know, this is the Robert I was talking about. Robert from Beerfort Paranormal. Sandra is
in the background somewhere.
Back there somewhere, but they are Beerfort Paranormal, and they were the other people that Jim had contacted along with us because he knows both of us. And I was just going through the initial getting there, us looking for reasons for shadow figures and other things. What was your initial thoughts on the, going there and meeting the people and doing the walkthrough?
Yeah, getting there was it was not far from where we're located, but it was that was a good part. But getting there, talking to people, I think it was interesting to hear their claims. And usually what we do, we'll go to a location when somebody needs help and do a walkthrough and we have a whole set of interview questions and stuff like that. But here we just came in as a force together to do everything in one shot, basically. So, the clients led us through the different locations in this building where they've seen their activity and what they heard, what they've seen. And we took those, information and deployed our equipment in those areas to see if we could interact. So
I was commenting on the fact that we had never kind of worked together before. We've done events before, but we never worked before. And I was impressed that you said it before I did. You asked the question. It's very subtle, but it has a meaning when you ask it. When they're talking about the claims and they're talking about what their experience, you said, well, do you experience things other places? Do you have other because again, that kind of sets the narrative. If you're someone who says, yeah, I get them at the park, I get them in my bathroom, I get them when I go to the laundromat, then you're dealing with a different type of thing. But the two guys who really said, no, we've never experienced anything.
Yeah, you got to create a baseline of like what the parameters are for an investigation. So, do you have a prior history of activity or with you, your family, where you live? These could be all catalysts to what's going on as well. So it could not be the place. But in this case, we determined it is the place that had the activity there that they talked about.
I told John I was impressed that he could tell us right down to the minute when things happened. I was impressed by that. You don't get that very often.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and here the interesting thing was, you know, they tell us about these shadow figures in two different areas. I think, was it three? I know of two that I can remember. Um, but I could have swore, again, walking into that one area in the back where the lockers were,
Yeah.
I could have swore this is an easy one. As soon as I saw those windows, you saw me looking at them. I'm like, there is something going on here, trees, sunlight,
You thought
whatever.
it was gonna be light
That
play.
yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
that shadows are gonna come right through here at some point. Maybe sundown, maybe
Mhm.
early in the morning, sun up. That's why they're getting what they're getting here. But the shadows never reached that specific area at
Yeah.
all.
No, the windows were rather high in this
Yeah.
place, so it probably is. Well, hopefully, with the camcorders I deployed, maybe we might have captured this anomaly that they see. So it'd be kind of interesting if that comes through. So yeah, like about maybe 7 or 8 hours of footage to go through between the two cameras. You know, so see how that goes.
So we did the entire walkthrough, and I was saying we spent a good amount of time just walking and listening and going to the different areas. And again, that's why I like working with Robert, because Robert takes it off of me to be that guy that needs to be the methodical, put things in different area plan that. I love it because it's like, you know, you ever see the movie? You ever
Yeah.
see the movie
We
Multiplicity?
feed off each other, like, oh, let's try this. Let's put the tripwire along this railing, and then you said let's put it around the door frame where the locker room is, and they went off independently of each other, which was
Yeah.
pretty. Because they're not connected, so that was pretty cool to see that. And I think I sent you a video clip earlier on Messenger. It showed how those lights worked as you were by that device, basically. So
And again, that was interesting in that we did start where we were told the shadow figures enter this one little hallway, if you want to call it that, where lockers are, and then there's a back area. And we said, okay, let's start there. We put the tripwires there. Robert had a couple of REM pods in and outside of the one area, camera running the whole entire time. And you brought up a point, not that we did a lot of it, but you brought up a point in one of the messages about the spirit box.
mhm.
There are certain places where you're not going to get a radio signal.
Correct.
You can hope and pray that it's going to happen. It ain't going to happen. Sometimes the building dictates your investigative style.
Correct.
You're limited. If it's high EMF, you throw away all those tripwires and EMF detectors, and you go, can't use these. And you kind of work within whatever the building and the spirits give you. So we were doing EVPs. Thought it logical thing to do. Building itself, quiet enough in that area. Not a whole lot of humming from air conditioning. They shut a lot of things off. The EVP that I remember, I think the first one we got was to your question. Am I wrong, or that wasn't the first one?
There was a few that we had responses. I know, like when we were by that locker room area, the question that I asked was, we're trying to establish a time frame where the spirit was from. So do you remember who won? What was it? Who did we fight during World War II or something of that nature? And we got the response back. It sounded like one person said, I think Sandra said it sounded like Adolf Hitler. And I thought it said Germany, so we have to still analyze that audio off the DR60 that we used. But with your recorder, which you placed in the locker room area on the floor, did pick up Germany, which I thought passed clear as day.
I mean, even on your camera, that clip you sent me, I hear it.
Yeah, you hear it faintly. If you really listen to, you'll hear it. Correct. Yeah.
And again, that was really something that, again, Bob set the kind of timeline as you would only know that if it was post 1940 whatever, so somebody within the lifespan of the 40s to now,
gave us a good timeline.
Somebody within that. So what do they understand? Do they understand certain kind of equipment and theories and phonographs and recorders? You could work better knowing those kind of things, and you could ask relevant questions by narrowing it down. I remember, I don't know, we can't say the name because it doesn't relate to the specific location.
Yeah.
Jerry. We heard the names. There were 2 people that had worked at this location, undisclosed. We're not telling you where it is. That who had worked there that had passed. I don't. Was it recently or had it?
No, it was a while ago.
It was a while ago.
It was
Quite
a while
some
ago.
time.
It was before the people that we were with. It was before their time.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a different business, I think, or something like that.
One was John. One was Jerry.
Mm-hmm.
And even to my surprise, we got the name Jerry on an EVP.
Mm-hmm. I think we got his last name also.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 2 syllables. It was definitely what they said the name was, which we didn't know. So we'll have to look at that again. So that's pretty cool, you know.
And for me, like I said, I'm a see it to believe it type of guy, and EVPs are the best part of that. I mean, equipment going off, you can think maybe this, maybe that, maybe not, maybe so. But EVPs, when they're clear and the answers are there,
mm-hmm.
the people that were with us, and that's part of I wouldn't say the fun of it, but it's part of like
validating.
Yeah, legitimizing what we do and validating what they experienced.
Well, they're the catalyst, so they're the ones that are there, so it's good to have them there to interact. And after you guys left, we were there for about an hour longer, and we tried a few things. We tried the spirit box, a direct link, even set up the portal in the break room. As we talked about before, you got no radio reception in there; it's flat. You would think even with the glass windows but you know how they're made in the old days, they have the chicken wire for reinforcement, so it's kind of like a Faraday cage almost, So we gave up on that stuff, but we did like an EVP run a couple of spots, and what was funny, we were at the one location where the fire containment system was with the big pipes and all that stuff, the big tanks, and we were doing our session, and then all of a sudden we hear like this waterfall, some kind of water coming out. It startled all of us. Like we thought like the sprinkler system was going to go off or something like that. It was just bizarre. Turned out it was like a leak from the roof, and it just happened at that point with the client we were interacting with. There's James. Hey,
hello.
That was crazy. Remember that part with the water coming down in the roof when we're doing the EVP session? I guess he doesn't hear.
Oh God, that scared the hell out of me.
That's a delayed reaction.
We have a way of doing that, Jim.
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting like an echo. I don't know. I've never used this before, so I'm getting.
You got earbuds in?
Weird.
You got earbuds?
I do.
And you still get the echo?
Yeah.
We're not getting an echo.
Not me too.
Yeah, it's like I hear everything after. Oh no! Now it seems it's going away.
Yeah. All right, that's one.
I hear myself talking or whatever.
That's awesome. I think.
Maybe if we try headphones too, maybe you won't hear the mic on our end. I mean, we could try that. Jim's bringing us to a screeching halt, Bob.
But like I was saying before, like just with the walk through the buildings and stuff, just trying to, the vibe was definitely changing as the evening went on. So, and it was pretty good. We were there till about 11 o'clock or so, and then call it a night.
That any better, Jim?
I don't know if it has something to do with because this is Bluetooth. I don't know. Looks like you have the same ones though.
No, we got the hardwire.
We got plugins.
But it could be because you're hearing again, Robert coming through.
I know. I didn't realize I had to close Facebook at the same time.
There you
go. All right, I got to kick you off now, Jim. You're just not meant to be here, buddy. Sorry.
All right, now I'm all good. But the water dripping down that I heard. Oh my God.
Robert and I were covering your part just fine before you got here. So we're gonna just keep watching it.
Yeah.
All right, so Jim, talk about this location. Of course, we're not talking about where we were, but
right.
What is your involvement in this whole thing?
Well, I'm very familiar with the location. I know people who work there. So they told me about experiences they've had, and I wound up reaching to you all to see if you'd help me do what I was calling an amateurish investigation, which probably would have had not even a third of the equipment you would have had. I would have had a couple handheld devices, to say the least. Nothing Robert would have brought. That's for sure. But they said they saw shadow figures. They heard voices, heard footsteps in multiple locations. I know the place has been around at least as the current business for about 40 some odd years. But it was previous businesses before that, but no other history about the building.
Did you believe what they were saying? I mean,
No.
did you?
These are people that know I'm into paranormal stuff, and I think they were coming to me saying this thing and seeing if I would maybe believe them and buy into it and take it further. And they watched some of the shows, but I really didn't think we were going to get anything, to tell you the truth.
You know, I wasn't sure either, Robert and Jim. Honestly, when we walked in there and we met everyone, it was one of those things where my brain was like, okay, I'll be objective, I'll be open, but I got a feeling we're going to be able to kind of explain things here.
That's what I figured. I thought
really
everything was going to be debunked.
I'll be honest with you.
So
I did.
were you surprised what was discovered?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So did those guys quit or what?
Actually, one of them asked me today if there was any interest in it coming back one day, if that was spoken about. I said, well, hold on, guys. The evidence hasn't even been fully gone through yet.
Well, let's get into that too. Jim, you were there, and they were there, and that was important to the process because, Robert, you could vouch for this. You can only do so much just by hearing what people are telling you. It's so much better to have the people who experienced it there in real time to say, I was standing here, I heard it over there, I was standing here, I saw it over there, and then knowing that they were, like you said, the catalyst, possibly. Hey, go over there again. Let's see what happens. Ask a question. Let's see what happens. And to my surprise, the one gentleman, I don't know if we can say his name, but he was, man,
he seems to be a magnet for the activity.
Woof,
yeah.
Man.
Yep.
I mean, he's around the facility more than anyone else is, from what I understand. He's there even on off hours, on weekends. So, and I got the feeling, and even though he said he's not had prior experiences, that he's somewhat sensitive, that he seems to be at least open to the idea and that sort of thing. And maybe this entity hasn't encountered that previously.
Wow.
That they've maybe encountered negative reactions if they've tried communicating, and he's been kind of saying, "Hey, how are you? Who are you?"
I don't think that was a question that was asked that I heard. Did anybody ask when it started? Was it recent? Has it been going on all along?
Well, the one person they had talked to has been experiencing it, and like I said, I believe the person we think is stirring up the activities maybe been passed for over 10 years. And this person would have worked with that individual.
Oh.
So,
wow.
and he didn't really provide a whole lot of information. But what I'm said, when he experiences stuff, basically says, "Go away, leave me alone."
I got a feeling if I pass, the last place I'm going to haunt is my job, but
that's what I said.
That's just now Robert might. I could see Robert running around the airport and causing some havoc.
You have to mess with a lot of people for sure. I promise you. Oh yeah, payback.
But what were some of the things that you were kind of remember from the whole thing, Jim, that you were kind of surprised about? Any like EVPs especially, or?
Well, one where they definitely called out the name of the place, which that was very intelligent, very that there was so much work there to be done. And then you all were already left. This was the EVP session right before the water came pouring down, where we asked, "Did you like working here?" or something along those lines. And it was vehemently, "It sucks."
Wow.
Wow.
Yep, I remember that.
So why come back? You know what I mean? Just from a.
But this goes into the whole theory about things. Do you have a choice, or are you just? I think I was talking to Chris about it, or maybe it was
Yeah.
Sandra. Is it seemed like it was almost a combination of residual plus intelligent at the same time. Like this guy is doing his day to day, and he was talking to us as if we were there.
Yeah. And acting like as if he was there, saying it sucks. I mean, that's
Yeah,
something
exactly.
he probably during a normal work day. Hey, it's Wednesday. It sucks being here. I can't wait for the weekend, type of thing. We I remember the one area, the archway, when we were there, and the one gentleman who experiences everything. Again, people that do this a lot like we do, we're used to those moments of that EVP, that thing happens, you see that, you know what I mean? He seemed, I was a little kind of concerned about him, and I think we all kind of talked about this a little bit, and even Sandra had mentioned it, I believe, to him, Robert, where it looked like he was trying to take in a little too much at once.
In the beginning, yeah, but as the evening went on, he changed, and we even talked to him some more at the end of the night, and he was fine. And I checked in with him today as well. He's doing okay. He's doing
okay. Because he, again, he's the catalyst. He seems like the guy who's ever there is trying to get the attention. Now, going back to debunking everything, one of the claims were footsteps and all. So as we're walking through initially, Robert, Jim, there's a lot of cracks and pops and bangs and booms. Yeah. I mean, they come from, if you don't know that building and you're wandering around there in the dark, you're going to be like,
yeah,
what was that over there? But it's normal for that building.
Yeah, it's all metal roofs are there. It's like corrugated metal, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's just the heat, and it sounds like something like running on the roof.
I said that too. I'm like, footsteps.
And how can when an EVP session is having right at that time,
Even though we had that one boom that we couldn't really explain, the one real loud one.
I was using your Sony recorder with the headphones. I was in that area with that little mini platform that we mentioned to trip over, and I heard it. It sounded like a faint can, like you were hearing Gettysburg or something. A boom.
Jim and I were the only ones that didn't have headphones on, and we both, it was like in real time. It was like, and we both looked at each other and I go, is that normal? And he's like, no.
I mean,
there are mines and stuff like that in the area, mountains, and so maybe some of you had dynamite. It's daytime, so it could have been something environmental.
Right. I mean, we are near 4th of July too, so I mean,
exactly.
You never know, but
it was just that one time, though. That's the strange part. It was just
one time. It was only one time, right?
I mean, I got to tell you, like I said, I walked in there thinking, I think we're going to be here for 3-4 hours, and I don't think we're walking out of here with anything to talk about other than, trying to reassure people it's probably this, it's probably that. This is what we didn't really get anything. But I was pleasantly surprised getting the name of that person, getting the name of the previous company. Jim, that's what we're talking about, right? That it was the company before the company that's there now.
Mm-hmm.
That's intelligent. No way.
Yeah, that's not reasonable.
Yeah, somebody was there, knew the name of that company, and he's still there.
Why?
What are the feelings from the people who, again, how do they feel about the possibility that that person is still there for whatever reason?
Well, it's interesting. They're going to do some asking around because there are several. Because this is someone that hasn't passed that long. Well, it's long ago in a lot of people's time, but this place has employees that are very long term. Right. So there's probably 3 or 4, if not more, people that knew this individual on site that we can ask about information about them and what have. Because the one feedback I got, or one I got from somebody today, was that the psychic that Robert had do a remote viewing described this as a 55 to 65-year-old person that's grumpy. And they said, that's spot on how you would describe this individual.
But they were talking about me. They've been picking up on my energy.
It's highly possible.
But the other thing I did notice, the one room where we started out in the EVP to begin with, that there was no claims of activity there to begin with, and that room seemed very light and had no weird juju to it to begin with. But then when we went in there later that evening, that was probably the creepiest location of the whole site. by far, and that's where he would have worked because he was supposedly a shipping guy.
You're talking about which area now?
That room with they have the platform in it and what have you.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about. I was like the lockers.
When it was
no,
pitch
that
black
was-
dark in there, it was like
It changed.
it changed.
It changed. And
That-
that was the funny thing because Robert, when we were walking through, Robert kept saying, "What do you feel?" And that's what I like. It's not just about what you hear, what's around you. What do you feel?
And you talk about that. There was that archway area, Robert.
Yep.
You and I both. The
Yep.
cold isn't like blowing through a window or a door or something.
Right.
It's specific to your body to like one area. For me, it is anyway. I felt it on the back of my neck,
Yep.
and that was the only place
and
I
then
felt
he,
it.
he got a
And then
big,
Robert kept
Fine,
feeling
like my lower back, I felt that energy around me, so I knew there was something different there around us.
and it wasn't just that. As soon as you said it, the lights behind you all lit up too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I remember that.
those track lights, whatever they call them, the trigger lights. They were really cool. We draped them all the way across, and it was interesting. It validates some your feeling with an electronic device nearby.
Yeah, and even the guy's name who we can't mention, he was getting EVP and the lights
Yes.
were responding near him, kind of a double
That was crazy.
validation thing too. Do you feel it is just one specific person there, or do you think there's a possibility if there's more than one? If you had to guess, I'm not asking.
I'm gonna say more than one. More than one.
You think so, huh?
Do you? I think it might be one. I don't know.
I think it might be one as well.
EVPs, there's like a conversation that we got. Like it seems like it's more than one like interacting. Well, like I said, we'll review the evidence and see if we get something different in there.
I mean, it's
Did you
worth
talk about
another
the
look.
alien Morse code, Robert?
Oh yeah, that was bizarre. We were getting on my portal like electronic beeping sound. It's just like almost like Morse code. It was just bizarre. So
And it was different every time.
yeah. So well, you got the military base nearby picking. Well, I shouldn't have said that, but anyway, they're probably picking up the signals off of that, whatever they're broadcasting. I
Right,
guess.
right.
So it was pretty bizarre. So
And that's the one thing you're going to get strongly. If any radio waves can make it to your
is the military.
link, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Well, I was using this spirit box called a Panabox, which is a Japanese-made AM/FM radio. It had TV band as well, and it's been hacked to go in reverse in AM suite. But what's unique about that radio, it has frequencies that are not common to U.S. radio frequencies.
Right.
So that's why I was probably picking up that beeping sound. Now, you remember when I changed it to the SB7?
It's like using a shortwave radio or something.
Yeah.
Long way.
We didn't get the beep anymore,
We didn't
correct?
get it anymore.
Yeah, because it's not in that band of frequencies. So
You're
Yeah.
lucky the government didn't come kick down the door and
That's what I was said.
the men in black show up.
we black
You're trying to
Suburban
leave.
front. Hey, where's our truck?
I'll tell you what, though, I think it would be worth another look if at some point we could go back there again and try to further validate that one person and maybe ask him a little more about, hey, what are you doing here? Why are you still showing up to work every day?
I wonder. I don't know if they heard the commentary, James, between you and the other guy when the air conditioner kicked on that had been shut off. They had walked away and they were just like, "Oh my God, did the ghost just turn the air conditioner on because it got too hot over here?"
Yeah, but you're talking about a building where nobody was pushed, nobody was scratched, nothing
No.
fell on anybody, nothing's thrown at anybody. It
Nothing
literally
scary.
is just a guy who used to work there that's still around.
Yeah.
And
that
and
likes
again,
Rolling Rock and hamburgers, apparently.
Yeah, that was a
I
highlight.
forgot
I
about
think.
that too.
Where that platform thing was in that room in the back with the computers. When we went around and I asked, "What's your favorite food?" or whatever, I guess and then we got an EV plus hamburger, and then we played it back on your recorder, which you laid in the back of the room, right? And you played it, and it said, "What is your favorite food?" And we heard hamburgers. I play that back on your recorder, John. It was crystal clear, and it wasn't there. It was a disembodied voice.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
we
was, I
all heard
forgot
it
all about
live.
that.
All of us heard it.
Yeah.
live.
It was clear as day. It was
That
the
was
loudest.
that was cool.
So that backed up your friend's claims of hearing voices in that area and stuff like that. So that was full on.
And that was one of the things that the person said. He said he could be in one area of a main warehouse type of area, and around the bend down another walkway, he'll hear somebody talking, like trying to get his attention, and nobody's there. And Robert heard that. You guys heard that too? Because I didn't hear it.
What?
The disembodied voice.
Yes.
Hamburgers. Yeah, I didn't hear
Yes.
it.
That's why when
I
you
thought I
put
heard it,
back,
but
I'm like, why aren't we hearing it? And
But
then
you thought you heard it on the recording.
Bob said,
Yeah.
we're not hearing it. Why are we not hearing it? And then like, oh my God. And that's when he put it together. We heard it live.
Yep.
But
It is a recorded voice.
we were talking to the person who was experiencing all this stuff, and basically, you know, reassuring him and telling him, and like you said, you talked to him afterwards and he seems okay with everything. You know, in that kind of situation, it really is just a matter of coexisting and, hey, good morning, whoever your name is, good night, whoever your name is, you know, just they're there.
Bring
You're
him
there.
a drink and a hamburger, dang it, once
Yeah,
in a
exactly.
while.
I'd leave that. I'd leave a hamburger in one room and
Rolling
It'd
on
be
it.
a perfect trigger object for
I'm
another time,
telling you.
right? Yeah.
Next time.
We're all going to show up with beer and burgers.
You cook burgers out there, right? It's a hell of a party.
We do. They do. Yeah.
One thing is, though, my lungs will never be the same again. That's for sure. And,
I do have a little sore throat from
Yeah,
yesterday's,
yeah.
you know. So
this paranormal stuff can be hazardous.
Well, so the air quality was also
you
terrible.
need a day to, you know, it takes a lot of energy out of you. You have to, you know, just like chill out and, you know, relax. You know, like today I was going to do a bunch of stuff. No, done. Grocery shopping was, and that was it. You know.
But you know, you're right about that, because I felt the same way. I felt just kind of like there was a million things I had to do that I need to do, that I was just like, I'm just kind of tired.
Mhm.
You know,
I'll tell you, the weirdest thing was
probably poison.
yeah, poison. But when I was collecting all my stuff, I had my cart. So Sandra was with everybody in the break room, and I just went in the dark by myself, collect that stuff at that area where I had my trigger rope and the pods and cameras. It was just felt really weird. It was definitely, and then you hear like
Really?
it's just you're you know, you're being watched. You were definitely being watched.
But there's an idea to try for the next one, is recreate what that person was dealing with, being alone, one of us at a time, go in there, check the temperature of how you're feeling, walk around with a recorder and just ask questions as you just make a tour around. And that I could do that, Robert. You know, the person we're talking about could do it, and see what the difference is.
Sandra said you were all suffering from paranormal hangover.
Yes, that's correct.
Yeah, but that would be a good idea to try, because I'm really curious of what, like you were saying, what that atmosphere is like when you're in there alone, like that person is at 6 o'clock in the morning or whatever, quiet building, nobody else around but you and old Jerry.
Yeah. That popping sound you heard on your recorder when we were their first initial EVP sessions by the locker room.
Yeah,
that pop was actually magnified noise from the roof when I heard on a camcorder. I think that's what we picked up. That microphone's very sensitive, so it sounds like something tapped it almost, I guess. But I think it was definitely the.
it was like a snapping.
Yeah. So I think it was picking up the ceiling thing that's making that noise or whatever. You know.
But that's what was great about what we did too, and I'm a guy who loves the different types of trying different things and experimenting with different things. Robert had the DC, what's it called again?
Well, what the
your recorder?
Oh, the Panasonic, the RRDR60.
Right.
Yeah.
He had that going. At the same time, I had another recorder going somewhere else, and we were covering a larger space with two different devices. And sometimes he would get the EVP, and other times I would get the EVP in the other area. And both times, every time we did it, one of us was hearing something. And that was really weird too.
What, Jim?
There was one thing I forgot to mention to both of you, even today. So as myself and the one individual were leaving, because Robert was already gone, and we were the last two to take off, we looked up, and there was a light on in one of the offices, and he knew that light is only a motion activated light. It wouldn't turn on otherwise. It would ordinarily be off.
Wow, that's weird.
It was weird. It was very weird.
Yeah, that place has a lot of motion lights, so you were wondering
And
when you
that office would have been right You know where the light was on at the end of the hallway where we were doing all the sessions with the locker room?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It would have been to the left when you're going back into the office area. It would have been one of those first offices to the left.
Wow.
Hmm.
Wow. Interesting.
And that's motion.
As it was motion activated light, yeah.
You know, that's the thing too. We tell people this all the time, and Robert, you're probably, people, ask a lot of times, why is it one person or another person hears or sees or whatever? And we tell people, not many people do what we do, what Jim and these other people, we actually were saying, hey, whoever you are, we know you're here. We're here to talk to you. If you're making noises and you're shouting out from around the bend, here we are. No reason to shout. Come talk to us, and you wonder if that leads to like an uptick or does it stay the same? That's something to kind of monitor as we go here the next couple of weeks.
It'll be interesting. I'm sure I'll be hearing from these guys. So
I'm curious about that, to be honest with you. If he's going to experience more, or is it going to kind of taper off because we've been there and acknowledged his presence, or business as usual.
So we
'cause
got
what was also-
Annie from Australia listen to us saying that she's having a lovely time listening to you all.
Oh, thank you, Annie.
Thank you.
I found it very interesting in the area outside the locker room where the tripwire was going off pretty consistently. We had a REM pod right in the middle of that path, and it didn't go off one time.
And here's another thing, again, to his credit, Robert went around everywhere where the tripwire was prior to. He walked the entire perimeter with the millimeter and took readings the whole entire time. And what was it?
Zero.
And yet EMF spikes were happening at random times. Pretty cool.
Yep.
So worth another look.
Those big fuse panels, but they were all dead. Usually you'll get a couple hundred milligauss off of that. Those are like industrial sized panels. But I guess that circuit's dead or whatever. But that's you always gotta don't assume it's something going off. Get it collide. Use another instrument, measure that area, and try to debunk it. We put fresh batteries in a tripwire to make sure it works properly.
Same thing.
So
started going off. Yeah.
You owe me 3 AA batteries, by the way.
Krista, she takes care of all the business part of New Jersey Paranormal. Anyway, guys, Jim, thank you for inviting us.
No problem. Thank you for coming, both of you.
Interesting experience. Robert, it was great working with you guys. I hope to do it many more times in the future.
We had a blast.
That was fun. I enjoyed that a lot.
Any last thoughts here before we go?
No.
Oh, the American flag is 4th of July. Remember the American flag EVP?
Oh,
that was really weird too. That was really weird.
Yep.
It said American pause flag.
Correct.
And the flag is
and
hanging.
just explain that real quick. That was because it was a kind of a memorial. It was his flag.
Yeah.
And they hung it up in the rack.
For Jerry. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of good. That's why, like I said, keep me informed with that whole.
And maybe that's a good point. Maybe that's why he does come back there, is because he's being honored and remembered.
I want to validate that though, because that was the one person saying it. But since I know there's more people, I just want to validate that. It
still won't make me go back to my job after I'm dead. They could have a statue of me. I'm not going back
there. That's what I said the entire time. Why would you go back to your job?
All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Have a good night.
All right. Me too.
Well, there you go. I mean, that was kind of the breakdown of the evening. I'm glad that they were both able to come on. Sandra, I wish you would have been on a little more. You could have kind of talked about some of your experiences, but that's what we did last night. And like I said, I enjoy working with Sandra and Robert a lot because you can see Robert's very knowledgeable and Sandra are very
ethical.
A long time.
Very ethical in their investigation.
And I like it because you can't work with everyone that has the same approach as you all the time, but Robert and Sandra are pretty on point with kind of, the way I would do things and the way we do things. So it was really, there wasn't much, no, let's do it this way. No, let's do it that way. We were like right there in the pocket.
We were synced
together. And that was a really good experience.
Yeah.
in a building where there was nothing scary happening. That's the
No.
thing too. We weren't there to address any concerns as far as people being afraid and people. They just knew something was there. These two people in particular, and they wanted their coworkers to like, hey, we're not crazy. Let's bring these people in and see if we can find proof.
I love the collaboration. I love the sharing ideas and going back and forth and talking about the different stuff. And like, that's the stuff I really enjoyed that. That's the first time that we really got to investigate with them and really get into the nuts and bolts of this.
I
And
enjoyed
it was
it.
amazing.
Enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah.
Anyway, tomorrow night is Camp Evans. We will be back there. July 1st, we'll be back there. It's going to be hot in that building, I'm sure. So if you're going to be there, we will see you there. We'll take lots of pictures. We'll talk about that event probably Sunday night. We'll do a whole wrap up of that, if not Monday. I do plan on returning to the Creeper Gallery next week at some point. This one's going to be going away soon. So John will be home alone like Macaulay Culkin and getting into a lot of mayhem, probably, with haunted objects and doing, haunted things.
So they'll have to help you.
So, yeah, guys, thanks for watching. Remember, tickets are available. Still a few for the Barron Arts Center. Kalani Ghost Hunt, October 7th. Camp Evans, October 14th. Email NewJerseyParanormal@yahoo.com. Make sure there are New Jersey Paranormal events. I got an email from 3 people asking me about another location for tickets, and I told them that is not us. Make sure it's on our Facebook or on our website, or it's not us. All right, guys? Have a good night, everyone.
Stay healthy, be safe, and please be kind. Good night, everybody.